This is still the most important chart that I think you guys should be paying attention to. This is the Bitcoin chart, and this is the weekly time frame. Okay, the weekly time frame here, and we are still in a very risky position here. This is a rising wedge pattern. For those of you guys who don't know what a rising wedge pattern is, it is very important to know because it is a bearish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Now, why am I talking about Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin is still the driver of this market. If Bitcoin has more room to pump, so will a lot of these altcoins. However, if Bitcoin actually dumps from here, which there is a higher probability that it does based on this technical pattern, okay, that is going to be catastrophic for the altcoins, okay, for a lot of these altcoins here. And this is what we're still paying attention to because we are still running within this channel. It's getting into a very tightening channel here. That tells me that a move is about to happen, a breakout, okay? Either to the upside or downside. If this thing breaks to the upside against its probabilities, then I would expect a significant move here because a lot of short sellers are defending this level, right? And a lot of sellers are probably taking profits at this level, seeing this bearish pattern. However, if the bulls actually push out of this pattern here, I would expect a short squeeze here, actually pushing this price significantly higher. And the price level I'm looking at here for this week would be about 130K. And if we don't break out to the upside here this week, then we're going to go along this upward trend line. Of course, the downside here, always have to consider the downside risk is going to be if it breaks up at this point here, it's going to be almost 80,000. Okay, so that's going to be catastrophic. All right, so this is the number one chart to be paying attention to. There's quite a bit of divergence on this weekly time frame, on some of the lower time frames as well. So let's see if the bulls are actually able to push through. Yesterday, I talked about a chart here that is going to be very interesting because this chart tells me this is the search term for Bitcoin on Google. And the index here is showing me that there is more surge for Bitcoin lately. These are weekly data points. This tells me that retail is coming into the market. And why is that important? Is because when retail comes into the market, my theory is technical analysis could be invalidated in some instances, right? Like major breakouts. So could this be an exception, right, to divergence playing out? It could be because during previous major breakouts like December of last year, December of 2020, October 2017, those were some of the times when bearish divergence did get invalidated. And there is a correlation with the search term for Bitcoin where retail is coming into the market. Could this be one of them? This is why I am paying attention to this chart right now. Okay, we're also going to be taking a look into some viewer comments. I'm going to be responding to viewer comments, okay? And then we're going to take a look into a few altcoin charts, right? We're going to be taking a look into TOSHI, the meme coin, Lombard, which is BARD USDT, relatively new altcoin, Swiss BORG, see what's happening in these markets, some of their price targets, trading setups, see what's happened with these coins. Of course, we're gonna take a look into. I'm not gonna do news today because we're taking a look into viewer comments. I'm gonna give you guys a response. Right, let's go ahead and take a look into the viewer comment section. This is gonna be interesting here. All right. Let's see here. Okay. I see. Thanks. Thank you very much. Okay. And the next one is, are you still confident for Kava price you predicted? I'm gonna be doing a Kava video later today, so I'm gonna be answering your question further in a more detailed form. And let's take a look into what's happening with Kava. Next one is by Edwin Amarillo, 126. I like Plume. Good project. Actually useful. I hope Plume. Now, I don't know the fundamentals of Plume, but if you guys want to see more of Plume, I'm here for you guys. I'll do a update if enough of you guys want to see more of Plume, right? And if you guys have any insights you guys want to share with me or with each other, put it in the comment section below. All right, next one's gonna be pretty funny. I think I had this for 5 years now. Already forgot about it, and he's talking about Anchor. Okay, so I guess this guy is. I think this viewer is ready for another bull run here. For the Anchor that he's been holding for 5 years. It's almost coming full circle, in my opinion. Now, I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinions on this market is bullish right now. However, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. You guys gotta do your own research, form your own opinions and strategies, okay? Next one here is, should I buy Zora or not? I can't tell you if you should buy it or not. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I cannot give you guys financial advice. I'm just presenting information that is on the charts, right? And I'm telling you guys what I'm doing. But of course, I could be wrong. So you have to form your own opinions. Maybe see what you guys are seeing on the charts, because I might not be completely right. Based on what I'm seeing here on the charts, right? So I can't tell you, man. I can't tell you. Um, Next one, I appreciate this long comment here. You're one of the few covering Anchor, and appreciate your courage to call a real target. That is 10 cents. Yes, thank you very much. Now I'm just telling you guys what I'm seeing here on the charts. I'm just, the price targets are based on the measurements of the patterns that I'm seeing on the charts. And you guys can validate that as well. Don't just take my word for it. If you guys ask TA, as AI or Google any of these patterns, they'll tell you how to measure a target, and I think that's going to be very useful, right? Don't I think that one of the key things to take away from these videos is the basics of technical analysis. I think that's going to take you guys far, as it took me, right? It took me from someone who was clueless about trading 5+ years ago, who I would have just traded on emotions. And I learned technical analysis, and I see this game completely different. Okay, so I hope you guys, that is the most important things to be taken away from these videos: the basics of technical analysis. Get curious, get interested, and I think if you guys want to be trading in the long run, that is the key to it. All right. Next one is Caspa has been about to break out for years now. I rather put on GRT and Plume. Yeah, I mean Caspa has been very boring. A lot of these bigger altcoins have been very boring, and some of these smaller altcoins have been boring as well. I mean, to be honest, this has been one of the most boring and less straightforward bull cycles I've seen. Okay, at least based on the data. It isn't like 2021 where things just go straight up or down. And the most consolidation I've seen was like maybe 2 or 3 months. But we've been in this thing for almost a year, right? We've had some significant downsides, some significant consolidation, right? Not to mention last year was also pretty long. So, cartoon character. I don't know what you mean by that, but maybe you think I'm animated. I'll take that as a compliment. Love Tars AI. Thanks to do it. Yeah, I'll continue updating you guys on Tars AI if enough of you guys want to do it. Great content. Please keep us informed at AI16Z and Ondo as much as you can. Yeah, I would do that if enough of you guys want to see it. I do remember that there was a question on AI16Z and virtual agents hitting their all-time highs again in the coming months. Now, I think, so this is the comments. So I think this is going to be very dependent on what happens with Bitcoin, right? This is why I talk about Bitcoin first, whether you guys like it or not, because it's still the driver of this market. If Bitcoin actually continues this bull cycle and particularly breaks out of this rising wedge that it's in, right? then I do see quite a bit of these AI agents at least having significant moves. I don't know where these AI agents are. Let's take a look into AI16Z, right? I think AI16Z is actually pretty close to its all-time highs already. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? AI16Z. Okay, so it's not that close. It's about it's quite far away. So in the next couple of months, I think there's a chance, right? But I think there's a chance that's, let's see here. That's we're at almost 10 cents right now, and the all-time highs is almost a 25x away. I mean, I think there's a chance because AI16Z. How big is AI16Z? Market cap. Yeah, so it's not that big. So 25x, that would, that would put this at about 2.5 billion, $3 billion. I mean, I don't think that's impossible. I think there is a chance that it does, but it has to be given that Bitcoin continues pushing, right? Because if Bitcoin starts dumping, these altcoin setups, they're not going to matter. Okay, so that is what I'm seeing here. But of course, not financial advice. Don't just don't just put all your money onto it instead of 25x target. That's not. I mean, that's not what I would do, right? So let's go ahead and go to the next. We're done with the comment section here. Let's go ahead and go to default. Sorry, not default. The altcoins. TOSHI here. What's TOSHI been doing? This is the altcoin, the meme coin. All right, I've talked about a few patterns here for TOSHI, and I'm gonna outline you guys a scenario that I think could be happening with TOSHI. Okay, so 0.0012 is the resistance that I see here. Okay, and this could be forming a cup and handle pattern. Okay, which I see rounded bottoms and rounded bottoms on this weekly time frame, right? And rounded bottoms usually form into a cup and handle pattern. If TOSHI comes back up to retest this 0.0012 resistance one more time, then this is a cup and handle pattern here. Okay, and then cup and handle patterns are bullish patterns that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Okay, still a hypothetical scenario, but I'm just gonna give you guys my guess here. It hasn't been formed yet. Okay, I'm just giving you guys a best guess here. Okay, this could be a cup and handle scenario, and if this forms, this could take TOSHI. The target here, the price target is going to be about 0.00225. Okay, price targets. Now, price targets are estimates only, and there could be more, there could be less. A lot of it is going to depend on what happens with Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin starts dumping, like I said, these altcoin setups, they're not going to matter very much. And 0.00225 is kind of significant because that would take you to almost the previous all-time high, right, at about 0.00233. So it makes sense that a price target could be there, right, and then take a pullback. We'll see, right? We'll see. Will it be a pullback or will it be a hard rejection? We're gonna have to see. Okay. Now I did talk about on a lower time frame here for TOSHI that there was a falling wedge. Falling wedges usually break to the upside, and this one did, and basically crushed its price targets. Okay. Price target was at about 0.00087, and TOSHI went all the way to about 0.00115. Okay, so these are some scenarios to be paying attention to because price action could meet its price target and some more, or I've also seen breakouts that fall way short of its price targets before flopping. Okay, we're all just talking about probabilities here. Okay, nothing is for certain. Okay, let's go ahead and go to BARD and see what's happening with this coin here. Relatively new coin, had a huge pump, went from 40 cents to about $1.50. Okay, let's take a look into a lower time frame because there's very little data for this coin since it's new. 6 hour time frame. 6 hour time frame was slightly overbought, okay, and it has gotten rejected and running within this falling wedge pattern. Now there is no divergence on this time frame here. So let's go ahead and take a target, a price target. How do you take a price target out of a falling wedge pattern? You measure the opening of the pattern. If there is anything to be taken away from this video, which would be it would be the best. I mean, probably the best thing to take away from this video is to learn how to chart, read the RSI. That's one of my most favorite indicators. Simple, effective, very reliable as well. And setting price targets on your own, because you guys know that it's not made up, right? Now, price target, if it breaks out by this point here, price target is going to be about almost $1.50 price target. Moving averages, 6 hour 21 SMA, 6 hour 50 SMA above the price action, above the pattern. Those are going to be your resistances on this time frame to be looking out for. Those are going to be some of the key resistances, right? There's going to be others. Now, falling wedges have a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Also have to mind the downside risk as well, because there is still a chance they break down, and I've seen that happen. Let's go ahead and go to Swiss BORG and see what's happening with this coin here. This coin has been on fire. Now, I'm usually cautious when coins have been on fire, especially when I'm just seeing a straight up like this, okay? It is in very overbought territory on the weekly time frame. RSI readings about 85. It is hitting a resistance here at about 70 cents, 71 cents. Okay, that is going to be, I'm just going to say 70 cents for even sake here. It's about 70 cents, okay, as you guys can see. Back in February of 2022, that was the resistance from February 2022. This is one thing I love about technical analysis, is because it works, right? You can expect to find resistances and supports even based on very old data. I mean, this is not that old data, but this is a potential cup and handle here, okay? I mean, it is basically a cup and handle here, because just depending on the time frame we're looking at, I do already have 3 touches, and let's take a look into daily time frame. I mean, this is I mean, probably one more touch on the 70 cents resistance, and this will be a cup and handle. Okay. Now there are some overbought signals on the weekly time frame, so a pullback here is not surprising. Okay, and 70 cents was resistance from back in 2022. Daily time frame, there is quite a bit of divergent signals here on the RSI, including this one. Divergence is basically where you have higher or equal high on the price action chart, where we have an higher high right now. However, an equal or lower high on the RSI, that's indicating weakness on the RSI. Now, what could this look like here? This could potentially look something like a falling wedge, right? Something like this, right? If it doesn't break this upper trend line, okay? If it doesn't break this upper trend line, it could be coming down here for a falling wedge pattern that could look something more like this, right? So you just want to see how low this thing retraces. This thing is still an estimate. I would still not be surprised if Swiss BORG actually breaks through this daily 21 SMA, just because of the amount of divergence on this daily time frame. So this is basically what I'm looking at for Swiss BORG. Let's see if it actually finishes that cup and handle pattern, because that is a bullish pattern. I talked about a few patterns here that also played out already, okay, and some more. Now, this basically wraps up for this video. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of TOSHI, Lombard, Swiss BORG, or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis, and I'll see you on the next one.